So, how y'all doing? Sluggermonger. Talking about something a little bit different, actually, on this channel. Now, I've been using FrogLube for a long time, right? This is my AR-15. It's a CMMG upper with a Palmetto State Armory lower, PSA lower. And I've been using FrogLube for a long time. In this particular gun and in my Beretta 92, mainly, right? I've also got a couple pump guns that, you know, whatever. And I've never had a problem with it, right? I haven't actually had any issues until recently. I actually took this to the range yesterday, right? And what happened was, well, the reason I took it out is I just replaced the buffer tube assembly, and I redid the flash suppressor, put a new couple parts on it, so I just wanted to recheck the zero, make sure it's still, everything is still on. So I took it out, right? Got out to the range. And first round, you know, loaded up, first round, sitting on the bench, right, and click, nothing happens. Okay, that's odd, you know what I mean? Pull it back, you know, extract the round, check it out, it's a light primer strike, right? There's a little bit of dimpling on the primer, nothing really too heavy, but what the crap, right? So, do it again, you know, rechamber a new round, same thing, click, right? It's a very soft click. It wasn't like... Didn't sound like that. It was softer. It was very cushioned. And that's actually what led me to think, hey, you know, I'm getting a soft primer strike. It's got to be something to do with my firing pin. I stripped the firing pin out, took the bolt out, and yeah, my firing pin channel was full of FrogLube. Now, I have coated my firing pin in FrogLube before I, you know, reinserted it into the bolt carrier group, but I've never actually coated the internals of that chamber, that shaft, you know, the firing pin shaft, in FrogLube. I've never actually added any lube in there, but it seems as over time that I haven't actually cleaned it out. I haven't done a good enough job cleaning it, that it's built up into that chamber over time, and it congealed, right? It got thicker and gave me light primer strikes. I went to the bathroom at the range, got a bunch of paper towels, and was... You know, I had my bolt ripped apart on the bench, cleaning it out, right? And I cleaned the channel out, cleaned the firing pin channel out, and reassembled it. Worked fine. Didn't have another malfunction after that. Everything was set up great. Didn't lose my zero. It was all great, right? Shot 250 rounds. It was fun. But FrogLube, right? Now with that, it's scary, you know what I mean? Because again, I've never had any problems with this in my Beretta as well. I've got a Beretta 92 FS that I shoot all the time. I've never had any problems with that, but it's making me worry because is that material working its way into places where it shouldn't be, right? I've got to completely disassemble that 92. I've got to take the entire slide assembly apart now, just to make sure that nothing is getting into that the firing pin channel or the you know, the behind the actual extractor on that Beretta 92, right? So I've got to make sure everything in there isn't full of crap, so it's all going to continue functioning. So FrogLube is it's a failure for me. I'm not going to continue using it, and the reason being isn't because it failed up front. I've been using it for 2 years. Let me show you this. If you're familiar with this stuff, you don't use a whole lot of it. I mean, you use barely anything whenever you lube a gun, and I've got almost nothing left. I mean, you can see in there. I've used basically this whole thing. It took almost 2 years. This was a new product when I first bought it. I saw it at a gun show and it was brand new. Like, yeah, I gotta get that because it's so cool and it's green, and I bought into all the hype and it, you know, whatever. And I mean, it does work. It's good stuff. I've never had a failure up until the point where it completely seized my firing mechanism. Well, no, completely seized up the firing pin to the point where it wouldn't work. Didn't seize up the firing mechanism, but just a little bit of a warning on that. Just wanted to mention it to you guys. If you guys ever want me to do a video actually on my build here, this AR, just let me know. I'm really into guns. I like guns a whole lot, but I don't have as much information about them as I do with knives. It's actually guns that got me into knives in general. The way that something with, it's the tolerances, you know? The tolerances of the steel and the aluminum all together, all the different pieces of metal interacting and locking and doing their thing is really what got me into my little obsession with folding knives. I mean, it's that precision, that tolerance, and that steel on steel, or that steel on aluminum action that just, you know, it proves to me that I'm really a knife guy over being a gun guy, but there's still something so freaking amazing about this. It's not even just the cool factor of it. I think people, like, they take, like, the cool factor of it the most. Think about a gun from a physics standpoint. This is launching a 55 grain projectile at over 3,000 foot per second, causing it to generate over 1,200 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. That's freaking insane. Just from a physics standpoint, the exponential growth rate of the actual energy gathered by the projectile due to that velocity is insane. I mean, that doesn't even, it doesn't seem like it makes sense until you run the numbers. And then even then, it still doesn't make sense. Bullets are freaking cool, man. That's it. Yep, y'all have a good one. Possum says hi too. Huh.